Keir Starmer's tenure as Prime Minister has been marked by a series of reckless decisions that have now culminated in a landmark Supreme Court ruling, which has unequivocally condemned his approach to governance. The court's judgment is not merely a legal setback for Starmer, it is a dire political warning, exposing a leader who has abandoned accountability, defied democratic norms, and made reckless choices with public resources. What we are witnessing is not just incompetence but a systemic failure of leadership that threatens the very foundation of the UK's political and legal systems. Let's be clear about the gravity of the Supreme Court's intervention. For a sitting Prime Minister to be ruled unlawful by the highest court in the land is not just a slap on the wrist, it is a damning indictment of his leadership. Starmer has been found guilty of governing without oversight, bypassing Parliament, and making life-altering decisions on matters of national security, foreign policy, and taxpayer funds without the consent of the very body that is supposed to hold him accountable. This is the kind of autocratic behavior we expect from tyrants, not elected leaders in a democracy. The ruling exposes a fundamental problem in Starmer's approach to leadership. In one of the most critical issues of the case, the court condemned his reckless spending of billions of pounds without parliamentary approval. Starmer's decisions have not only been financially irresponsible but also legally unsustainable. The Supreme Court was scathing in its judgment, labeling his actions as lacking accountability and undermining the principles of representative democracy. The Prime Minister is entrusted with power to make decisions on behalf of the British people, but in doing so, he is bound by the laws of the land and the rules of parliamentary procedure. Starmer's behavior violates these sacred principles. But perhaps what is even more concerning is the manner in which he has handled foreign policy. The ruling specifically criticized Starmer's actions regarding the controversial handover of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. In a move that has angered many, particularly those who are concerned about the growing influence of China in the Indian Ocean, the court deemed this decision unlawful. This is no minor issue. The Chagos Islands are a vital part of the UK's national security strategy, and to cede them without proper consultation with Parliament is not just irresponsible, it is dangerous. Starmer's eagerness to align with Mauritius and appease foreign interests has opened a dangerous door for Chinese influence in a region that is of critical strategic importance to Britain. Equally disturbing is the claim that Starmer has made backdoor attempts to reintegrate the UK into the European Union, despite the clear mandate given by the British people in the 2016 Brexit referendum. To even entertain the idea of undoing the will of the people is a betrayal of democracy. Starmer has demonstrated a flagrant disregard for the result of the referendum and the promises made during the campaign. His actions are not just a political misstep, they are an affront to the very fabric of British democracy. Furthermore, Starmer's unilateral commitments of military support to Ukraine, made without consulting Parliament, further compound his record of irresponsibility. The UK's involvement in the Ukraine conflict is a matter of grave national interest and security, and yet Starmer has treated it as though it is his personal decision to make. His failure to secure parliamentary approval for military support risks embroiling the UK in a conflict without proper debate, leaving the country exposed and vulnerable. In the area of environmental policy, Starmer's radical net-zero agenda has drawn severe criticism for jeopardizing the UK's energy security. The court's ruling on this matter could not have been clearer. Starmer's approach is legally unsustainable and reckless. It puts the country's infrastructure and economy at risk, all in the name of an ideological commitment to an environmental agenda that has yet to be proven effective. His policies threaten to leave Britain in the dark, both literally and figuratively. Starmer's leadership, characterized by erratic, unconsulted decision-making, reveals a Prime Minister who believes he is above the law. The court's ruling is a wake-up call for both the Labour Party and the British people. It is now abundantly clear that Starmer's government is not only out of touch with the electorate but is actively undermining the democratic structures that have ensured Britain's stability and prosperity. His reckless decisions cannot be allowed to stand unchallenged. It is time for Parliament to act. Starmer has shown a complete disregard for parliamentary processes, for legal constraints, and for the democratic will of the people. If this country is to maintain its standing as a beacon of democratic governance, there must be consequences for a Prime Minister who fails to uphold the principles of transparency, accountability, and responsibility. A vote of no confidence is not just a possibility, it is an imperative. Starmer has demonstrated time and again that he cannot be trusted to lead the country with integrity. His leadership is a danger to Britain's future, and it must be brought to an end before it is too late. In a political system that prides itself on checks and balances, we cannot afford to let a leader who acts without accountability continue to hold power. The Supreme Court's ruling is a reminder of the importance of safeguarding democratic processes. Now, it is up to Parliament to take the next step and remove this government before Starmer's recklessness leads Britain down a path from which it cannot recover.